of everything that has been done. You know, sometimes here there's like only 3 different actions before it actually outputs the response. But sometimes you have maybe 50, 60, 70. It really depends what you ask him, but different action that the AI agent will take before providing you the response. And finally, you can see every detail of every steps on the right side. So I will keep that view for the demo as well, so you can see what's happening and what the AI agent is actually doing. So what is next? Right now is basically if I go to ChatGPT and I ask the same question, it will have the same answers. Me, I want to actually delegate and do things on my behalf. So the next things to do is actually to add tools, things that you can use to help me in my day-to-day job. And the third thing I want to do as kind of working in a SOC, as I want to give him local knowledge about my company, about the infrastructures, about my processes, about maybe the incident we had in the past. And for that, that's something called RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generations, which basically is the ability to attach local knowledge to your LLM. We're not gonna go into the detail of that, but the way you actually feed the RAG, in my case, will be like through Google Drive. Every time I drop a new document into that folders, it will get processed and added into my RAG. There is many other ways that you can use to actually feed your RAG dynamically and add more knowledge, connectors, things like that. So here we are. I use Supabase. Just add my first tool to my local AI agent assistant is able to kind of use any documents that I had to help me answer questions. This is very important, is the prompt, right? So if I double click on that AI agent, I can specify the prompt and I can tell him what I'm expecting from him. And for me, I'm telling him, hey, you're going to have me on a day-to-day basis. You're going to have access to a RAG. You're going to find a lot of information related to the company and the processes, etc. into the RAG. Look first at the RAG before you actually give any answers. I also add additional things like if you don't have the answers, tell me, avoid any kind of hallucinations. In my case, I also told him that I like emojis, so he can use them in this answer. But the prompt really helps you to articulate what is going to do actually the AI agent for you. And now I'm adding more tools, right? It's one thing that he has local knowledge, but I want my AI agents to do more, right? So I add 3 tools to start with. I am adding a tool for interfacing with Vectra. I want the ability for the AI agents to pull detections, to pull hosts, to pull accounts, pull any kind of information from Vectra as I'm actually analyzing an incident or a specific entity in my organization. The other thing that I want him to do is the ability to send an email. So I kind of had a tool for Gmail, send a message, so when I can delegate him to actually send email on my behalf. And finally, one of the things I would like him to do is to block something. If I need to block an IP address or host or anything like that, I want him to ability to block that on a firewall level. So I add an additional tool to block a host on the firewall. So now is my AI assistance with 4 different tools, access to a local knowledge through a RAG, ability to ask any question to Vectra to get detections and informations about detections, the ability to send email, and finally, the ability to block a specific host. Another thing that I want to point out here is how easy it is to actually configure those nodes, right? So in a very traditional way that you configure workflow, you have to define really statically which parameter you're going to use where and how it's going to be structured, etc. Because, for example, in that case, for an email, I need a subject and I need a message. And either you define the template yourself, very static, and you're gonna put this template and you can use this
to really absorb that initial engage.
Here you can just define, hey, this is going to be defined by the model. The model will find out how to use those different parameters and use them the way it is. So zero configuration. You just say, hey, message, this is where you're gonna write the message, and it's going to figure it out. So really easy, make it easy to configure a workflow when you interact with the AI agents. It will just do a lot of things on its own. Another thing I want to point out that you can really, here I was kind of will show you how to interact with AI agents locally, but you can completely kind of add Slack and trigger that AI agent from Slack and output the answers to Slack. So completely maybe from your phone or maybe from your computer. You don't have to go to NN8 and to interact with that. You can use other venue. It could be WhatsApp, it could be Telegram. There's many, many options out there. So here it's great because, I'm plugging tools. You can actually now send email, go to Vectra, fetch more information and blog host. But you see that if I want to add more capability to my AI agents, you always need to add more tools. And they could become very big in terms of like how many new tools you have to add, describe, how to integrate with that specific tools, etc. So at scale, it can become more difficult as you want your AI assistants to be more, support more tools, right? So it's very difficult to maintain. Every time there is a new operation, for example, I want to draft an email or I want to get an email, there will be additional tools and I can just like have increasing size of my workflow that would be managed. So next question is like how I can actually overcome this first issue. And what actually if my AI agents could connect to any tools and operations without adding them individually, right? And the good news is actually it exists. And it's something called Model Context Protocol, or MCP. If you have been looking at news around AI and LLM, you probably heard about that because that really made a lot of noise and gained huge popularity. But it was something released by Anthropic, November 2024. And it's really a standard that was developed to connect any AI systems to the data, right? Where the data lives. So it's kind of see like the analogy is using with USB-C, where you connect different peripheral to your computer using USB-C, and you can just use them. Here you connect to your AI agents through MCP, all those different tools where the data lives, and you can interact with them. So really the goal will be making AI agents more useful, flexible, easy to add new capabilities. And NN8 was indeed the first kind of those three tools I was talking about earlier to release that MCP client capabilities, right? So instead of adding new tools, like I want to get a message from Gmail, I want to send a message. In this case, I'm going to use Jira or Confluence as an example. But NN8 will just be an MCP client talking to an MCP servers. And the example will just be, hey, Jira or Confluence, what the different actions, what the different tools you have available to you. And we give the LLM a list, my AI agent a list of every operation that can be done and how to use them. What's the schema? What parameters need to be set? And then the LLM will be able to use those different tools. So here we transition from something where it can be much more dynamic. Before MCP, we had to develop custom app. We have to add a specific tools or action for every tool. We need to maybe to use custom HTTP endpoints, but it became very, very difficult to manage. Now with MCP, the MCP server will provide us all the tools that are available to interact with a specific services. Each tool provided by the MCP server will have the descriptions again and the list of parameters that are accepted, so the AI agents know how to use it. Each parameter is documented, and when there is a new tool available, in my case for Jira, I can just learn dynamically from the MC server there is a new tool and how to use it. So I don't have to change my workflow manually. It's just going to learn automatically and be able to use it. So what I do next, I'm going to use add a couple of MCP server to my AI agent. So in this case, I'm adding Jira. Integrating with my ticketing systems. I'm adding Brave to do dynamic search on the internet on my AI agents. And finally, I'm also adding a Firecrawl, which is a crawler. So adding all those tools to make it more efficient, actually delegate more tasks. So here, I'm going to move to the actual demo. Okay, so I'm going to start that. So the first thing I'm going to ask is, okay, Vectra, what do you know about this system, right? I have a host that has been identified as suspicious. I got this host name. My first is like, oh, AI, what can you tell me about this specific host named PF? Things like that. Again, you could see on the right side the different steps that have been taken by the AI agents to kind of answer this question. So here I got my answers. The host has several suspicious detections from Vectra. I have a list of all of them, all the different detections with a summary of like what it is, the MITRE, tactic, as well as short descriptions. And it also gives me a summary. My next question is like, oh, I see there is an external remote access detection from Vectra. Can you actually provide me more information about that? Again, the AI agents will use what he already learned from Vectra. It will actually call again Vectra and give me more information about these detections. And in this case, he said, oh, this external remote access was targeted to an EC2 instance. Okay, that's good to know. I can move on in the investigation. The other thing I noticed is there is a suspicious remote execution from Vectra. So again, can you tell me more? Give me all the detail for the detections because I thought it's kind of interesting to look at. Go again down Vectra and get all the information about that detections. Here, you can notice something interesting is that the event is IT schedule task and something that I would like to investigate. So here I can actually ask again my AI assistants, like, do you know any attack tools that have actually used these IT task scheduler services functions, right? Because that looks suspicious to me. So again, here is just gonna use this data set, or you could use actually the local knowledge if I have maybe a previous incident for that. In this case, it's just gonna use LLM. And it can start telling me what it is actually this event is, what's the different attack tools that are known to use that type of techniques, why is it used. So give me a lot of context to actually understand what's going on and what could have happened. The next step for me is like, okay, I know something is going on, and I want to start taking action. So what I can ask him, what do you know about the system, right? I have no clue what this PF notify prod 01 is. So I can ask the question what it is, and based on the local knowledge that I gave him, with all my infrastructure documentations and things like that, he's gonna dig in and find out where it's located, the IP addresses, the system where it's running, what kind of system it is, etc. So it gives me a lot of context about this specific host, which is actually running on AWS. So it's cool. I have a better idea now of what it is. I could ask him what operating system is running. Does it has any EDR, for example? So in this case, there is no EDR. It's running Ubuntu systems. And I can ask again now who actually owns this system. We're using local knowledge. It can just fetch the information for me and give me names about the person that are in charge of that system. Now I can start using more tools. I can ask, okay, now create the tickets on my Jira system for this specific incident. So it's gonna go find the right tools, the right elements, and create the system, create the ticket. So now I have my ticket created, I have a short descriptions, etc. Now I'm just gonna add, can you add in comment of that ticket all the information that we discussed and you find out about this host and detections and system, etc. So we're just adding everything into my ticket. So everyone we're going to share that specific ticket will have the information that I collected through my AI agent. Finally, I think I have enough information. I want to block the host, so I just use the tool my AI assistant has to block on the firewall level, and just use that to block the host. So I'm happy. This host is now blocked, and I'm gonna just add a comment in my ticket, all right? And I don't have to specify again which ticket ID and everything like that. Everything is in memory for my agent, so he can just reuse it. He knows that he has all the context to kind of update the ticket with information that are relevant. Finally, I just want to send an email to the person that owns the system, including myself, and let them know what actually happened, what I found out, give them the ticket, so they can access on Jira as well. So all good. That's the end of the demo. I hope it kind of really show you, how much you can delegate and how much it can help you as you actually add more tools to your AI assistant. Finally, running short here, but really hope it kind of open your mind of opportunities that you have, using AI assistant to help you operating your security stack on a day-to-day basis, and how it can help you to offload some of the things you do manually. Really hope it will help you to get started, start your journey. It's a long journey, you just learn over time, improve over time. But it's just by doing that you're gonna get better and get to the more complex workflow. AI agent again is incredible. We are really at a turning point on how those tools are being used. Really embrace it, try it. It's make it so much easier to do without writing a single like code. Again, it's free, so you don't have any reason to not try it out. But it can really, be the future of SOC, using AI to help you out. So will you also embrace that journey? Thank you for listening on.
Dùng uy thế để nhận.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining the Vectra Attack Labs today. I hope you found the content beneficial to you. Just a reminder that you can download any of the resources for further review, and also this presentation will be available on demand, which you will receive via email tomorrow morning. So thanks again for joining, and feel free to reach out to us if you'd like to learn more. Have a great day.